3 years.
3 years with my podcast, yeah.
Okay, what's it called? What is it about?
It's called the Sales Beast Podcast, and I've been doing it, like I said, about 3 years. It's for realtors really looking to level up their business. Our slogan is "Success is the only option." So we've interviewed top realtors across North America doing amazing things in their business, and we just wanted to selfishly like coach ourselves through it.
Oh, nice.
And now it's just grown into a pretty big following. So we're having
Salesbeast.ca?
salesbeast.ca on Instagram. Yeah.
Is it mostly catered just to realtors, or someone who's in sales in general could take a look?
I honestly think it, personally, like maybe I'm biased, but it could be for anyone that's looking to grow a business, because like as we know, all businesses are sales, and I think a lot of what you learn in real estate can be applicable in any other industry.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anna, tell everybody the story about how you got involved with Keller Williams,
Yeah.
the brokerage.
Okay, that's a really long story, but I'll try to condense it
Okay.
for you. I know we were chatting before this, like you don't even know my story. So this will be
We've
good.
met on Instagram. We met like 8 months ago, in person maybe 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can go on with the story.
Yeah, and we got into business not long ago either. So I guess we'll start about 6-7 years ago, and I was coming back home from university, and like most people that leave school don't really know what to do with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just starting to explore different opportunities. I had done business in school, and I started looking around for different jobs that could kind of align with that. My parents had always been entrepreneurs. We came here from Mexico in 2001. So again, I didn't really want to be an employee. I wanted to be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully I found a job as a real estate assistant.
Okay.
And I was like super close to home. So I started working with this realtor. They were just growing their team at the time. They were a husband-wife team, and it was a really good opportunity. I worked with them for about a year. They were a Keller Williams team. So that's kind of my introduction into Keller Williams. And from there, just fell in love with the industry. I really loved that opportunity and everything that it helped me learn and grow into. And I'm really thankful for it. And it's just led me to so many different paths and opportunities in real estate since.
Okay, and now you are involved with a new office,
Yes.
Keller Williams Legacies.
Yes.
How did that become a thing?
Okay, let's continue back from where I left off with that team. So when I was working with that team, like I said, it was awesome, but I was looking for other opportunities outside to kind of keep developing myself and growing. And so kind of came across this thing called KWYP, which is the Keller Williams Young Professionals Network.
Okay.
It had been big in the US, but never really in Canada. And there was a group of individuals that wanted to create it here in Canada. So I kind of raised my hand and supported them and became like a volunteer director of ops for that division and helped it launch. And in the first year, we grew it from literally like 5 members to 120. And that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was just about connecting with other individuals in real estate that are, under the age of 40 approximately, that wanted to grow their business and their lives and just have fun. Like we would literally go out and get drunk and go to baseball games and do random shit. But
That
at the
sounds
same time, there was like
Sign me
so
up,
much
sign me up.
networking.
Jonathan wants to join and become a realtor now.
Yeah, right now.
Let's do it. But honestly, it was so much fun because again, I was in the industry. I fell in love, and the people that we kind of started this with here in Canada were starting their businesses as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I'm drawing this out a bit, but the 2 people that started it were Dylan Suter and Sandy McKay. And as you know, Sandy McKay is the owner of KW Legacies. So when I was with that other team, I wasn't really getting a lot of opportunity. And so I talked to Sandy for growth. Exactly. And Sandy had just started his team in Hamilton, McKay Realty Network.
Okay. Which
And
is a big team.
Now it is.
I actually I was talking to another realtor 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, tell me about KW Legacies." And then I mentioned Sandy McKay, the McKay Realty Group. I probably
McKay Realty Network.
Yeah, I probably said the name wrong. but she's like, "Oh, I do a lot of business in Hamilton. I've heard about them."
Yeah, they're pretty big now. When I started with them, it was still a growing company. And I got the opportunity to come in and lead their lead generation department, so like sales. And like I didn't really know much about sales. Like I said, I had just been in the business for about a year, but it was a really great learning and growing opportunity. And I mean, you know Sandy a little bit now, but he's just an amazing leader, and he always has been. So he just kept giving opportunity and just experiences and helping people grow, and just like giving the vision and letting them do it without standing in their way. So that was really fun. As we were growing KWYP, we were also growing McKay Realty Network. And then 2019, we had a big vision to put together a massive event for realtors. Like there wasn't really much happening in terms of big real estate conferences in Canada. And so we kind of stepped up to the plate, and we had a goal in mind to raise 300,000 for charity. And so I'm trying to think of like what happened next. Anyways, we put like a group together of board of directors to put this event, and like this was the first event we'd ever done before, and it was all volunteer run. Like we were not getting paid for this. It was like a lot of time and effort, but it was awesome. Like it was a lot of learning, and I think it now contributes a lot to the brokerage and what we do.
Yeah, you guys established that foundation, that belief in that.
Yeah.
To like other things you guys do.
Yeah, so that event ended up becoming a really like good success story called the Real Estate Growth Summit, and I guess Keller Williams Canada and their leadership team recognized that, so they offered this group of young professionals that had never. Yeah, they essentially helped us launch a brokerage.
Was your guys' idea to become a brokerage, or did it just like fell in your lap and you're like, okay?
It didn't really fall in our lap, but there was always like a vision of wanting to do more and help more individuals. And so when KW Canada approached us to launch a franchise, and there was these group of, like I said, about 5 individuals that all had come together to launch the Keller Williams Young Professionals, it kind of made sense. Like it was something that hadn't been done before. Like there was kind of a path beforehand to like get a franchise, and we kind of disrupted that quite a bit. That was awesome. And then 2020 we started working towards that, and we know what happened in March.
Of course, yeah.
we got the pandemic, but prior to that we had been doing like recruiting events in Vaughan and just getting in front of agents.
Did you always like recruiting? Was that always a thing, or did that become a thing when you joined Keller Williams?
It definitely became more of a thing because like growth is inevitable, and like that's really the only solution for all your problems is to keep growing, right? And so I was doing a lot of like hiring and recruiting on the team, and it translated into like now the brokerage for sure. But yeah, so 2020 it was all about just launching that franchise, and you know what happened 2021 January we officially launched, so it's been 2 years.
How many realtors do you think you've spoken to in the last 3 years or a year?
I could probably look at my appointment numbers and tell you, but I know last year we did 435 appointments.
Oh, wow.
With realtors, yes.
How many of them were contenders to join KW?
That's a good question.
Roughly, like 50%, 40%, 30%.
Yeah, I think KW is like a unique company. There's something in it for everyone, like whether you're a solo
and
team.
It's not for everybody either. We're not here trying to say, you know, it's the only option. Obviously, there's different brokerages.
For sure.
There's different opportunities. I told one of my old bosses, like, realtors are like athletes. Some athletes strive on certain teams, and some don't strive on certain teams, right?
1000%.
Let's get some tea in here. We don't have to say who it was, obviously. Not trying to expose anybody.
For sure.
What's the nicest thing you've heard in an interview, and what's the worst thing you've heard in an interview off the top of your head?
Yeah. Okay, well, nicest thing is like I love when people just come in like so ready to learn and grow.
Okay.
And when I'm chatting with them, like you can really hear it in like their language, not only like their vocal language, but their body language, if they're like open to receiving and like hearing from you. And like I always ask questions. Like I'm not sitting there giving them a whole spiel. Like I want to hear from them on what kind of value they're looking to get. If someone comes in and they're like just ready to receive that and they're contributing and they're not giving like short answers, that's great. Like I love that. I want you to tell me about you. Yeah. And then on the opposite end, like the types of meetings that suck is like someone comes in super closed-minded, like gives me short answers, doesn't contribute, talks shit about the company. Can I swear on here?
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay.
No,
Talks
Sorry, you're out.
Get out. Thank you for coming, but get
That
out.
wraps today's episode.
I forgot that we were live for a second.
It's okay. It's all good.
But yeah, talks crap about other people or their company or whatever, or our company even. That's just not fun. And I've had that before. I've had that commonly. There's a lot of ego in this industry, and I think
100%.
it strikes.
100%. And what are the most common mistakes you see realtors like when they're joining or starting up that they do, and that should be corrected with like before it gets worse?
Yeah, just generally in this business. Okay, so let me give you like an analogy before I get into that. So prior to real estate, I was actually a swim instructor.
Oh, so you're big on technicalities.
Yeah, I think maybe like just teaching in general and like learning. So I was a swim instructor, and like when you were going through the courses to learn how to do that, you're always told to correct like a swim stroke 10 meters, like within 10 meters of when you see it. And so I think about that like a real estate business too. It's like when you see someone making a mistake, correct it immediately. Otherwise, they're going to keep making that same mistake. But what I see most commonly, I would say like 99% of realtors don't know their own numbers. And there's a saying, the path is in the math. if you can understand like how many appointments you need to go on to get in front of X amount of sellers, X amount of buyers to get X amount of transactions, you can effectively know how much money you're going to make every year.
Correct.
And so when our agents don't track their numbers, that's like a huge no-no. We want to make sure they track their numbers. But like I said, 99% of realtors don't. They don't run their business like a business.
That's very true. I do consider KW, and not because I'm there, but in general, I do consider it like more of like a modern look on real estate and agents.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of brokers are stuck in the past with certain type of perks, and I just feel like there's like a notion of like, there used to be like, oh, we're this name and, you know, you should join us because we're this name. You know what I mean? And then now it's like agents are kind of the ones saying, okay, but what are you going to offer me, or what kind of tools are you giving me access to? Doesn't necessarily have to be leads all the time, but it could be coaching. I don't know, the culture there.
Yeah, what's the value?
What's the value for the agent? You want to speak on that, on values? Not necessarily just KW, but like in general, how brokerages have changed from like the past to like the present.
Yeah, I will say like, okay, like I don't want you to take this the wrong way or anything, but like I feel like brokerage models are dying. Like they really are. And I talk a lot with like independent brokerage owners. Like they're not tied to any brand name. They're not a franchise, and they're not going to survive for very long. Like the traditional brokerage model is dead. And we see that with like virtual companies coming up like EXP and Real and so on. And I think there's a more downward push on brokerages to provide more and more value.
Correct.
But that's also because teams are becoming such a big thing, right? If you look at the massive teams that are out there, like Sam McDaddy's team, like you can even think about like locally, like Alfaci's team, or if you look more towards like Hamilton Burlington, Chris Knighton, McKay Realty Network, like those are all massive teams. And when you look at their models and their structure, like those agents are part of a brokerage, but they're also part of a team. And the team tends to give more value than the brokerage does.
Makes a lot of sense.
So I definitely see like our industry moving away more from the traditional brokerage model and into a more high value brokerage model or just team model.
I know you have a lot going on all the time.
Yes.
I can imagine. That is confirmed. How do you manage? How do you stay yourself ticking?
Good question. I'm trying to figure that out myself. No, I was just telling you before this, like I try to find a lot of leverage, and for me that means like tools, people, and systems. So I utilize a lot of technology to help me. Like our team uses like, I don't know if you know, Slack, Notion, a few other technology tools just to like make our communication easier. Like I'm the worst hater of email. I absolutely hate email, and I will tell everyone.
It's ironic.
So I try to avoid email as much as possible. And then I'm a slave to my calendar. Like I time block everything.
Yes.
Like my personal stuff is in there first, like everything that's like play related. Then my learning.
Yeah, even as like a realtor or someone as busy as you, even your for fun or your pleasure, you have to put it in there
first. That should be in there first.
Family time, going to the movies. Like I literally, like Creed 3 was coming out, it was in my calendar.
Yeah.
Gotta go watch Creed 3.
You have to.
Or dinner at whoever's house has to be in your calendar.
Like one thing that's underrated, like if you have a partner, just put your date nights in the calendar. And like at first when I said that to my fiance, he was like, what? You're not going to schedule me like one of your realtors? And I was like, no, like I just want to make sure that you come as a priority. And like when you understand that like your personal life is a priority first, everything else doesn't matter, right?
She's a keeper. That's a keeper.
There you go. Whoever is that partner out there, Jonah said, and I agree.
Up. I should have done the same thing for my.
You should have. the one that got away.
I'm gonna call her tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna schedule in for
her.
Don't drink and drive. So 3 years ago, you started this whole real estate venture.
No, so I've been in the business going on 7 years now.
7 years, sorry, but 3 years was with McKay Realty. If
3 years was when we officially like started working on launching KW Legacies.
Gotcha.
So I got into business with Sandy about 5 years ago.
Okay, so what would you tell Anna 7 years ago if you could go back in time?
I mean, I live life with no regrets, I would say. Of course, there's some things that you wish you could go back and change, but I think I surround myself with a lot of the right people. So I would just say keep doing more of that, and like don't just close yourself off to one group or a couple of individuals. Like explore more. And I would say don't take things so seriously. Like I think for like a long part at the beginning of my journey, I was like trying to overcompensate for being so young in like a world of like older people and mainly like male dominated. And I just took myself too seriously, and I didn't like have fun along the way, and I didn't enjoy the process. And now looking back, like I'm really proud of all of our accomplishments, but I'm also wishing like, fuck, I wish I like enjoyed it more, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Any final words to the people? Anything else you want to say or add?
No, I
Any
mean,
tips for entrepreneurs out there?
yeah, I mean, tips for entrepreneurs, I would just say like find a model, a system that works. Like don't reinvent the wheel. Like we talk about that constantly. Like there is no unique idea. Absolutely no unique idea. Anything that you've thought of today, tomorrow, like has been thought of before. So find a model, stick to it. I mean, love Tony Robbins. He always talks about modeling, and that's what I would recommend. Like that's how we launched the brokerage so quick, is because we had a model to follow, and now that's how we help our agents grow their business.
Amazing. So any agents that are listening that are or people that are thinking of getting into real estate, feel free to contact Anna. Where can they find you?
On Instagram, annamarin.kw, or you can check out our website, kwlegacies.com, where we post all of our training events, information, and you can reach us there.
Wicked. Okay, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with Bella Bay Beauty Bar. Thank you to everyone tuning in, and we'll be back after these commercials. Or commercials, should I say. Buenas tardes, señoras y señores, y bienvenido a Soul Properties. Today I'll be talking about why I opened an international real estate company. Born in Canada with Colombian parents, I often visited Latin America. Over the years, as I grew up, I always saw more and more North Americans in these countries. I noticed that the interest was there and more Canadians and more Americans were moving south to the sunnier side of real estate. Recently, in the last 3 years, myself and my mother bought our first property in Panama, a beachside condo in a residential resort that we often go to every year. The goal of Soul Properties is to be the bridge for North Americans to buy in Latin America. During the process of myself and my mother buying in Panama, I wish maybe we had a little more guidance. That's why I opened Soul Properties, to be the bridge for North Americans to buy in Latin America. Whether it be connecting them with a builder or connecting them with a real estate agent in Latin America, and even being that consultant that can make that process easier of buying in Latin America. With plenty of opportunities, tourism on the rise, and more baby boomers retiring every year, Soul Properties is dedicated to find you the right property you deserve in Latin America. Soul Properties, the sunny side of real estate.
Soul Properties is a premier international real estate company that specializes in providing clients with a wide range of investment opportunities. Soul Properties is well positioned to help clients achieve their real estate goals, whether they're looking to invest in a property for the long term, earn income from short-term rentals, or find the perfect luxury home to call their own. The company's portfolio is diverse and impressive, featuring everything from high-yield investment properties to luxury villas and apartments in some of the Latin America's most desirable locations. Whether you're looking for a property in a bustling city center or a secluded getaway in a picturesque rural setting, Soul Properties has something to offer. At Soul Properties, we pride ourselves on our integrity, professionalism, and commitment to delivering the best possible service to clients. If you're looking for an experienced, reliable, and results-driven partner to help you achieve your real estate goals, look no further than Soul Properties.
We're back with Bella Bay Beauty Bar. And this is Nicole and Joa. How are you ladies today?
Hello.
Great. How are
Welcome.
you?
Thank you. I'm good. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. We're glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Much more information, new information to tell us.
Lots of new information.
Absolutely.
Great new things to talk about.
What has changed with Bella Bay Beauty Bar since we last met?
Lots of growth within our company. Lots of growth with the business. Surviving COVID.
Yeah, I think we met. When was it, during COVID, or was it?
It was like right. I think it was during COVID last.
It was kind of in the middle. We were
In between our
We're in
lockdowns?
between. Yeah, we weren't really sure what was going on.
Okay, and I was gonna mention, as two like Latino women in the business, what, like, since you guys started, how long ago?
We've been. We actually just had our open house for 3-year.
3-year anniversary.
In November.
3 years, yeah.
We were finally able to do that because of COVID. We couldn't do the grand opening.
Okay, gotcha. So, Joa, what would you say you would tell yourself 3 years ago if you could go back from when you guys first opened the business?
I think 3 years ago, I'd tell myself, don't be so scared and just do it. It's going to work out. Because when we first, the storefront kind of just landed in our lap. And I remember the opportunity became available, and Nicole was just like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We'll just do it.
We weren't even ready.
Yeah,
We're like, maybe in a year we'll do it, and then like the opportunity came so fast, and then
yeah, and we took it, and we're like, "Hey, we have the clientele. Let's, and we just
we
hit the
took
ground
the
running."
risk, we took the chance, and
That's amazing. I had a client recently for a commercial lease, and then I asked her, I'm like, because I think like this last winter was like the last winter of like, what if COVID comes back?
yeah,
Thing,
we weren't really
right?
sure what was going on.
So they were looking for a commercial spot last September, August. So they wouldn't open until like winter, basically, right? A couple months to get everything ready. And I asked them, I'm like, are you guys sure? I just want to look out for you guys. Like, God forbid stuff closed down, whatever. And she's like, no, Andres, if we don't do it now, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's what Joe was saying. Like, that's the
you
attitude
gotta
you
just
you have
like
to have.
take the leap of faith.
Exactly.
And just
Yeah.
go in it.
Yeah, we got really lucky with it too. Like, if we didn't take this opportunity, I don't know that it was made for us.
How did it like come about, like the opportunity?
Basically, I went on Facebook Markets and was trying to buy like an esthetician bed, and just for cheaper. And then the lady that I was buying it off from just happened to be down the street from where we were already kind of renting. We were renting a basement before that at another spa. And then yeah, she's like trying to get rid of the lease and wanted someone to take over. And then she showed me the place, and then I was with my dad, and my dad's like, what do you think about it? I'm like, I don't know, I've talked to Joa. And then I talked to her, and she's like, let's go see it. And then we went to go see it, and it just, everything was like ready for us to just move in. So
It was a beauty spot before?
yeah, the girl that was there before, she was already kind of doing similar to what we were doing, with lashes and stuff. So she already had the station set up and things. So we looked at the spot, and it was just easy for us to just move in, and we didn't have to do much. So we took it as a chance to, like, this is maybe our chance and window to get into an actual storefront location, and it worked out.
It was so extremely quick.
So fast.
So like we have, let's say our lash clients, they come every 3 weeks, right? So we'd have, let's say, a Sarah, and I did Sarah's lashes at the other spot that we had. Sarah's 3-week appointment, all of a sudden it's
is
like,
that
we're
a
at
new,
the store,
a new spot?
and she's like, what is going
we
on?
have to
And
transfer
it's
all
just-
our clients like there.
it
But
was, yeah, within a 3-week period, it's like our life changed. It was just
it worked out because it wasn't even that far from where we were. So this change wasn't too
Smooth
drastic.
transition.
Yeah, it was like a smooth transition. It was like almost like it was meant to be, literally.
So you guys opened just before COVID?
Yeah, we opened in November, and then COVID had hit in March. So
Wow.
we didn't even plan for none of that. But luckily, through COVID, we got a lot of help through the government and all the assistance they were giving. So that's what actually helped us a lot.
And what would you say was like the biggest, well, that was the biggest plus, I guess, in a way, that the government was. What's another positive and a negative that came through the struggle of being a business through COVID?
I think it helped. One of the biggest positives was helping us, I guess, learn how to manage to keep the business going and not being scared of like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to sell it? Like, we kept pushing through, and I guess the help that we were getting with the assistance was also like making us sure that we weren't going to have to give it up fully. And then I don't know what else would be like
honestly
negative.
the biggest
Positive and a
struggle.
Or either, or you can pick.
Positive would be absolutely the assistance. We were able, because we were running the business, on paper, legit. We were able to prove to the government that, hey, we opened right before COVID.
Yeah.
So if you were able to prove that to the government, they were gonna help you.
We got a lot of grants actually that helped us a lot with like renovations in the store.
Huge. Like
with-
without that, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
And then the biggest downside is the uncertainty. Like,
That was
this
the
is our
biggest.
baby.
Yeah.
Like, we're putting our whole life into this, and if we were to shut down, I don't know that we would have done it again.
We had
Like,
moments where we were like, oh my God, like, are we going to have to?
are we gonna throw in the
But
towel? It was scary.
Thankfully, we didn't
times.
need to.
Yeah.
You said something interesting there. You said legitimately. So what advice would you suggest for businesses? Because obviously there's that transition, right? And it's not so much something illegal, but something more organized, something more prepared, something more legitimate per se. What tips would you have for someone, doesn't have to be a beauty business, but someone opening a business, and how to get it to that stage where it's organized, where it's legitimate? Like, what tips would you have for someone like that?
I would say definitely register your business either as a sole proprietor or maybe a corporation if you're ready for that.
Depending where you are.
Yeah, and
Get
You
a, what's the word?
A really good accountant.
An accountant.
Yeah, a really good accountant. So with that, we have the same accountant.
The guy gives
Well,
the receipts too.
no, he literally
This
saves our
man,
lives.
He saves us.
Saves
I've
our
gotten in
lives.
trouble so many times because he's like, "Oh no, what are you doing?" But
'Cause
you know,
we didn't know nothing. Without
Yeah.
him, we would know nothing about numbers or what to do.
Keep your things organized. You know,
Yeah.
have your income and your expenses, and have
Keep
it
track of
registered.
everything. Like, that's the one thing that we had to learn
Yeah,
And it's a daily thing. Like even for myself,
all the
you
time.
have to be on top
keeping
of it.
track. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when it comes to tax season, then you're basically
yeah. Right now, tax season. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not
you
fun
fuck
right
yourself
now.
over in a bit if you don't. If
Yeah,
you, don't
you
keep
you
yourself.
basically you fall behind.
You fall
Yeah.
behind if you don't.
Yeah, but you know, it's really easy. I think RBC has a business account that's like $5 a month.
Yeah.
Like if you're super new at this, let's say you're doing lashes at home, or you're doing some sort of beauty service, any service really, go to RBC, book an appointment, any bank. All you
Open a
need,
business
yeah,
account.
is a master business license, and that's all they need to see,
Yeah.
and then boom, it's ready. That's it. And every once in a while, put some money in there. That's it. You're legit.
There's so many ways to start your business legitimately. You just have to research what the best options are for you, depending where you are in your business and or career.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lash business from home doesn't necessarily need everything we have at a storefront, but
Of course.
there's still ways to still keep track of how you're gonna run your
Yeah.
business.
Even if it's a little bit, even if it's a tiny bit, and you
Mhm.
have some kind of something on paper, it's gonna look good in the
Amazing.
long run. Yeah.
So you had said you had your first open house finally.
Yes.
How did that go?
That was amazing. We had such a good turnout. The vibe and the energy there was everything we asked for. We had great vendors there. Good turnout of people, lots of clients coming through, visiting. It was a good time.
We were so happy
We had
because we could never do a grand opening because of COVID. So
Mhm.
celebrating at 3 years.
And then there's that doubt. It's like, oh, would it have been better if we did it before? Is it gonna
Yeah.
be good?
But in a way, I like that we did it that way because we build like the clientele and like
Yes, yeah.
people following us through those
Exactly.
3 years. So
Mhm.
it was like a big
It
celebration.
wasn't just like random friends coming. It's like people you actually
yeah.
take
We
care
had a
of and-
mixture, but a lot of our clients did come and they
Mhm.
visited us and showed us love.
amazing. And what sets Bella Bay Beauty Bar apart from other companies?
I think the fact that one, we're Latina and we speak the language. So we mentioned this last time we were here too, that a lot of people just feel comfortable coming in and just speaking the language with us comfortably, like it's their home. And the fact that we're also a one-stop shop. So we offer tons of services that some people have to go to multiple places for.
Okay. What's an example? what example
We do
services?
so we do facials, waxing, body treatments, makeup,
And lashes,
Lashes.
and powder brows, and
microblading, like,
gosh, so much.
literally everything you can think of beauty wise, except nails.
Everything except like hands and feet.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And not just for women, for men as well.
For men as well.
We definitely have some males coming through supporting the business. That's
I'm
so
coming tomorrow.
awesome.
I'm coming tomorrow.
Jonah needs some.
come
Yeah, come
through.
through.
Yeah,
We'll give you
yeah.
guys a discount.
Come through.
You need a petty or a mani?
I need
That's the stuff we don't do. We
everything.
just-
The facials. He needs a facial.
facial, a haircut. I need everything.
Men are starting to take care more of
I was
that
just about to
stuff.
bring that up. That men are more nowadays more subconscious of like how they look, and
The more to the vanity.
there's a big push on like skincare now and stuff like that.
As
and
you
what
should
you're using.
though.
Yeah,
You guys should be taking care of yourselves.
very true.
And another thing that sets us apart at Bella Bay Beauty Bar too is I think the vibe with our clients. Like we're professional, but at the same time, you feel like you're hanging out with a friend.
Yeah.
You don't. We've had people where tell stories that they come from other places and they tell us they're switching lash artists because my lash artist was like really a dry person. She was nice, the service was good,
Didn't have
but
the
with
customer
us,
service.
it's like we're laughing, we're vibing, you feel so loved,
It's like
you
your
get
best
so
friend.
spoiled.
I feel like that's so important because you're like in someone's face, or you're
yeah. Well, you're so up and close
and
with
close to
her
them,
in their
exactly.
space.
It's always such like an intimate experience too, because when we're giving them a service and they're trusting us, so they're giving us like it's like a therapy session for them.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole hour or however long.
Yeah,
they're there
you
with
guys get
us.
all the tea.
We
Oh
literally
my
know
gosh,
we've
we
had
have
some
no-
juicy ass conversations
Dude,
with some
we
of our
have to like
clients.
get people sign NDAs because the stuff we talk about in there. Oh my god,
That's why it's hard for us to even want to hire people because we're like, how are we gonna hire someone that
Yeah.
fits the same
The
vibe?
stuff
Like
we be talking about.
Yeah, one wrong person with the wrong information.
Our work
yeah, or
culture,
just or
yeah.
doesn't vibe the way we do. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. So what do you guys like? What advice do you guys give to other people looking to open get into the beauty industry or open a business like this?
Definitely know what you want to do with your business. like what direction you want to take it in, whether it's staying at home with it or expanding, but having like a vision and a plan of where you want to go. Because I think that was our biggest challenge because we got thrown into it so fast.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of have to learn on the way.
Yes, as you go.
So definitely planning out like what you want to do with your business and then take it that way. I
Joe,
think
what would you say is your advice for anybody looking to open something else?
I would say have a business plan. Like, let's say you're working from home and you have a steady clientele and everything's great. Do you need to expand? Why do you need to
Yeah.
expand? Do you want to maybe first start renting a room like at a salon so that that's all you're responsible for?
Exactly.
Because if you get yourself into a storefront, the person who was at our store before us, she couldn't do it alone.
She couldn't handle it.
I wouldn't want to do it alone because there's so many other responsibilities outside of that. Like, you know, I have a family, right? So even before we opened this, me and Nicole would have conversations years and years and years ago. It's like we manifested this because
We almost did.
we had this conversation. I'm gonna see if I can find it on Facebook because this was legit maybe like 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Wow.
I told her one day, hey Nikki, because we do the same thing, like, listen, I might want to open something one day, but because I have a family, I'd only do it if I do it with you.
Yeah.
And she said the same thing back.
Yeah, because I'm like, I would never just jump into something like
alone.
You guys should literally like frame that. I swear, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You
No,
guys, like,
yeah.
manifested it.
I'm gonna find it. Watch. Yeah,
No, we did.
It's somewhere deep in there.
We
We had
talked
that
about it.
conversation.
we did.
Hmm.
How do you guys balance each other? Because usually as a partner, like, do you guys ever? Obviously, people disagree once in a while, but what's some of the benefits of having a partner? Or how do you guys balance off each other, bounce energy off each other?
So like, I don't mean to bring astrology into.
But I
You
will.
already know.
But we do. Oh my god,
But she's a Cancer and I'm a Pisces.
We're
so
water signs.
We
And
she was a
understand each
Capricorn.
other.
we're very emotional people together.
We understand each other so well, and I think
I
we're
think it's
like,
just also. I always say this. It's almost like a marriage. That
100%,
like
yeah.
it's like we're married to each other, but the business, like
are.
we just.
listen.
If you don't vibe with your partner in
Yeah.
a marriage, you don't vibe like in general. So this
Sure.
is almost the same with us.
her caller ID on my phone's like work wife.
Yeah, same.
With like a ring.
Amazing.
But I think we're both very like mellow people, and if we
Mm-hmm.
ever need to have a conversation, we're not the type of women where we're like
Catty
kind of like catty
or,
and
like-
scrappy. We're so laid back and mellow.
We're
but
so
it's-
open-minded with each other that any idea we throw at each other, we're like, oh, okay, like
You guys
Yeah.
are just open-minded,
we're like,
spitting
okay, yeah,
ideas.
we'll spit it out, or what do you think about this? And if she agrees, she'll throw in her idea or whatever she thinks about it.
Yeah.
So we just bounce off
It's-
each other.
I think
that
we
way.
got really lucky with each other because we hear stories about, you know, other partnerships and whatnot. And nothing is perfect, but I think we got really lucky. Like,
No, honestly, it's hard to find people you can work with, and sometimes it's your fault, and sometimes it's not your fault.
That's the one
right?
thing I would suggest, though, if you're gonna get into someone with a partnership, really know who you're getting in business with, and don't just get into it just with anyone. They have to. I feel like what works for us is that we have the same passion
Mhm.
towards the business. Like we treat the business like our baby. So because we both think alike, that's what makes it work. Because if you had someone that was lacking one way or the other, I don't think it would be as easy to flow to work with each other, especially because in business it's hard when you have a partner that doesn't vibe with you the way you want it to vibe.
Did you guys grow up together, like since young, or no?
no,
We
we've
know
known
each other
for a long time.
Long time, but
Mm-hmm.
we didn't grow up together.
Yeah.
We just
Oh, wow.
happened to get along.
If you guys said you were sisters, like, I would believe it.
People
to be
think
honest.
People think that. Yeah.
gotten
Like,
that
are
a
you
lot.
guys related?
Jonah, what do you think? You think they're sisters? Are they lying to us?
Well, I thought she was. Sorry, I thought they were sisters.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We get that a lot. Yeah.
What other a lot of like empowerment to women, like, you know, recently in recent times. What do you guys like have for advice for other women, whether they're opening a business or they're looking to be entrepreneurs, or obviously, like Anna was saying before you guys got on, like she was in a male dominated industry and it was hard for her to, you know, kind of like open up and not be so serious on herself. What kind of advice do you guys have to women out there that are looking to be businesswomen?
I would say watch who you hang out with is one of the biggest things ever. Man and women, you know, watch who you hang out with. What's that saying that you are who you hang out with? You're who you surround yourself. Your top 5 people. I would say try to, if you don't have that in your circle, try to find it. Try to mingle. Try to put yourself out there.
In circles that have what you're looking for.
If you have a cousin, if you have a friend, if you know somebody who's kind of, you know, you see them kind of doing well and you like how they think, try to kind of mingle with them, hang out with them a little bit, because
their brain.
they're gonna put the right things in your head.
Exactly.
But if you start hanging out with women who are doing
Or it could
everything,
be men, yeah.
or men
People in general.
who maybe that vibe or that lifestyle or that path that they're on, like maybe you don't want to do that, kind of like stay away from that, because
Or they're not inspiring you.
they
in
will
any
take
way.
you down. Mm-hmm.
I also feel like if you are trying to get in business, don't be afraid to take risks, because you have to have that sort of faith in yourself that you're gonna get to where you want to be. Because a lot of people get scared of opening a business, or they start something and they don't finish it, or they do it half-ass, or they don't commit to it the way they do. Because to be successful, especially even to where we are now, we had to really work at building a brand from basically the ground up, because we both had each other's clientele going into it together, but we built Bella Bay Beauty Bar from the ground up from when we opened it. So building that for the last 3 years really showed us how much we can build something if you're consistent with it. And a lot of people aren't consistent with their work, and that's why a lot of people give up on businesses, or they'll go take a lash course and they don't stick with it because they're not being consistent with wanting to get clients, or give promotions, or try to build the clientele to where they want it to be. So that's the biggest challenge that I see with a lot of girls that get into the field of beauty, and they don't be consistent with social media and just getting clientele through the door.
Yeah, and you have to wear all hats too.
All
like,
hats.
It's a lot of
It's
work.
a lot.
And it is scary, but you have to do it.
I
And
feel like I work more now, like at work, than I used to at my part-time job, but I also enjoy it more because I'm passionate about what I
course.
do. So it's
And
not.
like she said, it's like your baby, right? You're seeing it.
Yeah,
grow, you're nurturing it.
exactly. But we play all hats. So we are our own accountants. So we manage our own social media. We have to clean at the end of the day. We have to be doing all the orders for inventory, like stuff that you don't want to do, but you have to do it because it's part of the business, right?
There
yeah.
you go. And what's in the future for Bella Bay Beauty Bar?
I think just more growth with the company.
I think definitely more growth, and like we're probably going to be hiring soon. It's kind of
we're getting to that point.
We're getting to that point where we've been kind of getting to that point, and we keep talking about it, and we keep kind of
We're
like,
yeah.
wait, but you know, we need it. There's only 2 of us, and
the business just keeps growing.
yeah.
The last year, I think, is what really made us see how much potential we actually have and how busy we've gotten, and we're like just shocked at the numbers of where we are at, even after COVID.
I was doing the bookkeeping. Like I do the like boring admin stuff on the business side, and I was running like numbers, and you know, because tax season is coming up and now we're in a new year, so I ran everything, and I messaged her and I was like, oh my god, look at this number, this is what we did.
Amazing.
And we were shocked
at the
we were
numbers,
shocked.
and I'm
We
like,
were like,
what?
oh my gosh, we did that.
Making more than what I used to at my part-time job, working crazy hours.
Yeah.
Now we work less and make more. So.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Any final words or advice for anybody watching before we wrap it up?
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't be
Like Mikey,
scared.
just do it.
Don't be scared,
We're
because
not sponsored, I
don't.
swear.
Yeah, don't be scared. Take the risk. Like, open up that business.
And do your research.
Do your research.
Oh.
Don't just open up to open up because of the money. Do something because you're passionate about it, and follow through with a whole plan behind on where you want to go with it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask questions if you see other.
Ask for mentors.
yeah.
I have people ask
Absolutely.
questions too.
Of course. Mentors
Yeah.
are very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very important. Where can people find you?
You can find us. What's our address? 4959 Dundas Street West. Bella Bay Beauty Bar on Instagram.
BellaBayBeautyBar.com.
Yes, you can book online. We have some promotions coming up, so you can check us out on our website. We'll be posting those.
Amazing. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much for
Best
having
of luck.
us.
Hopefully you hit a double the number from last year.
Right?
Yes.
That's the
And
goal.
wishing you guys the best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll be back with Anthony Vera after this break.
Soul Properties is a premier international real estate company that specializes in providing clients with a wide range of investment opportunities. Soul Properties is well positioned to help clients achieve their real estate goals, whether they're looking to invest in a property for the long term, earn income from short-term rentals, or find the perfect luxury home to call their own. The company's portfolio is diverse and impressive, featuring everything from high-yield investment properties to luxury villas and apartments in some of the Latin America's most desirable locations. Whether you're looking for a property in a bustling city center or a secluded getaway in a picturesque rural setting, Soul Properties has something to offer. At Soul Properties, we pride ourselves on our integrity, professionalism, and commitment to delivering the best possible service to clients. If you're looking for an experienced, reliable, and results-driven partner to help you achieve your real estate goals, look no further than Soul Properties.
Buenas tardes, señoras y señores, y bienvenido a Soul Properties. Today I'll be talking about why I opened an international real estate company. Born in Canada with Colombian parents, I often visited Latin America. Over the years, as I grew up, I always saw more and more North Americans in these countries. I noticed that the interest was there and more Canadians and more Americans were moving south to the sunnier side of real estate. Recently, in the last 3 years, myself and my mother bought our first property in Panama, a beachside condo in a residential resort that we often go to every year. The goal of Soul Properties is to be the bridge for North Americans to buy in Latin America. During the process of myself and my mother buying in Panama, I wish maybe we had a little more guidance. That's why I opened Soul Properties, to be the bridge for North Americans to buy in Latin America. Whether it be connecting them with a builder or connecting them with a real estate agent in Latin America, and even being that consultant that can make that process easier of buying in Latin America. With plenty of opportunities, tourism on the rise, and more baby boomers retiring every year, Soul Properties is dedicated to find you the right property you deserve in Latin America. Soul Properties, the sunny side of real estate.